Especially in the section of maths, I want to give a difference between Cambridge and Edexcel. Um, Let me begin with Cambridge. Cambridge, of course, is just an exam body, as Edexcel is, and all of them are accepted internationally. So something that I need to mention is that the difference between Cambridge and Edexcel is that Cambridge tests all the concepts in one exam, right? If you do given topics in the specification of Cambridge, all of them, all those concepts that you are supposed to cover, maybe in P1, they are tested, all of them from the beginning to the end. All the concepts are tested in one exam. But if you come to Edexcel, and for in the first place, if you are going to do Cambridge, you are going to do P1, and P1 you'll be having a book like this one, which is having P1 units, and then you'll do P2 and P3. So, but most of the schools, if you have done P1, you go and do P3 without doing P2. And the reason as to why that some school opt not to do P2 and do P3 only is because all the units that are in P2 are also in P3. So once you have done P3, you have covered everything. So this is the P1 math book for Cambridge, P3. There is P1, which you do in year 12. But when it comes to Edexcel, Edexcel is actually modular, meaning that you do units separate. For instance, for P1, if you are joining year 12 after IGCSE, I would like to bring to your attention that if you have joined IGCSE, if you've done IGCSE and you are joining A levels, you are going to do P1, right? Now, under P1, this is the book that you'll be using, right? And let me just try to make use of this camera here. Let me just put my microphone here. So, in this book, the topics that you are going to do in P1, right? P1, you are going to do algebraic expressions. You are going to do quadratics. Under quadratics, you are going to do completing square. Then you'll have inequalities, quadratic inequalities. You do section on that. You shall do graphs and transformation. Yeah, this is one of the topic that you do here. You will do straight line graphs, trigonometric, ratios, radians, differentiation, and integration. And in this case, the integration and differentiation we're talking about is just the basic one, and not really into detail. So that is P1. Then the second book that you do, probably most schools they decide as you join year 12 right now, September, and then by January you do unit 1. But other schools, like the school I'm teaching, we do P1 and P2 units once. That's on January. Then we have P2. This is also the second book that you do. Probably if your school opts to do January P1, May, June, you do this in year 12. And then we have, once you are done with P2, you'll go and now do P3. So the difference between Cambridge and Edexcel, you find that in Edexcel, you have all these books. Huh? You do this unit 1, you do P2, you do P3, right? And then finally, you do P4, right? But in Cambridge, you have one book that you'll have to deal with all the concepts together, and they are tested in one exam. But for Edexcel, you do unit 1, you cover everything that is in this book, you are tested. Then you move to P2, you cover, it's also tested separate. And then you do P3, you cover it, it's tested separate. And then finally, you do what? P4. Now, by then, you are done with all the units for Edexcel math for P1 math. Now, if you are an Edexcel student and you have done P1, P2, P3, and P4, then now you will move to the other option known as further P1 math. so that you can be able to have the 11 units that will give you a grade for A levels. You do FP1, further pure math 1, and then you do further pure math 2, right? You can opt not to do further pure math 3. And so these are the books that are certified by Pearson for you to do pure math. And I really love for further pure math, there is a book like this one, which is quite good. We have introduction to pure mathematics, and also introduction to further introduction to pure mathematics, which is quite interesting and nice book. And also there's another book that you can consider using when you are doing further pure math, which is further pure mathematics. Yeah, so that is it. That is it. So if you are going to go into deeper details of further pure maths, you can as well do that. But for a student of Edexcel, you have the pure math units, which are 4, and then you have FP1, FP2, which you can be able to do. Cambridge, I feel that because now in the event, maybe in the event, what's the advantage of doing Edexcel and Cambridge? In the event, because we have said that Edexcel is modular, you do units separate, and it means that maybe if you fail one, you can be able to repeat that unit alone, right? If you failed P2, you can repeat P2 and do it. But in Cambridge, once you fail, you have to go through and sit for the exam for all the units. Yeah, so that is actually the difference. And I also feel that this book is also very good for physics students, those who are doing physics, both Cambridge and Edexcel. So you can just consider checking out this book. Yeah, it's a nice book. And the book that is also certified for additional maths, this is for Cambridge, is this one. And this book is actually aligned to the new specification. Some things in the syllabus are removed. So, but if you have this book here, it's a good one, and it is aligned according to the syllabus up to 2025. So you consider checking it out. And yes, so, and something that I don't have to, yes, don't use those other funny calculators. This one will give you easy time because you can be able to put a quadratic, solve it. You can be able to put a quadratic inequality, solve it. You can be able to put some integration. You can see there is a symbol for integration. You can be able to put some integral, and then you can be able to integrate. So this one can be able to really make your life easier. To show you, I'm going to add a link that will direct you in a nutshell where you can be able to download some of these books, and how you can be able to access the marking scheme of the books. You can be able to get the answers of this book, so that, remember A level, so that you can be able to access the answers to these books. You can check in the description. You can check the link I've added in the description, so that you take control of your work. You know that A levels, you don't have to wait for anybody to guide you what to do. You need to ensure that you are very responsible when it comes to your academics when you are in A levels. So that's why textbooks, in order to see what you are supposed to cover, but the main and the key area is past papers. Ensure you are doing past papers as you are covering the topic, so that you can be able to know in which depth are you going to go into those concepts that are being taught. And ensure you download the syllabus, so that you keep on checking and keeping track of whatever you are covering is supposed to be tested. See you in the next video.